Stage and Screen with Andy Snowden. Let us know what you want to hear on WhatsApp with the number 01978 540 410. We love local. CalonFM.
Cue the Music's James Bond Concert Spectacular is the world's finest and most critically acclaimed tribute to the music of James Bond. Celebrating more than 20 years as the first original and pioneering Bond concert, they are known for their stirring, emotional and adrenaline-fueled performances, mixed in with superb musicianship and flair. Indeed, every fan club around the world recognises them as the best and finest performances of the songs since the originals. And in a few weeks' time, on October the 27th, Cue the Music, the James Bond Concert Spectacular, will be coming to the William Aston Hall here in Wrexham. And a few weeks ago, I got to speak to Warren Ringham, who is the founder and manager of Cue the Music. Here he is on the Station Screen Show, Warren Ringham.
I was reading this morning that Cue the Music, the tribute to James Bond, it was conceived in 2004. I'm no mathematician, but this is your 20th anniversary tour. Is it an official 20th anniversary tour?
Well, it's actually been a little bit low-key, really. You're right, it is our 20th anniversary, but we tend to focus more on what sort of fans of the franchise and of the series want. And when you look at the fact that this year is a really big anniversary, the 60th anniversary of Goldfinger, 50th anniversary of The Man with the Golden Gun, we put much more emphasis on celebrating that than kind of focusing on our own little insignificant anniversary in comparison. Yeah. So yeah, it's something that our supporters will know about, but in terms of this year we've really been focusing on those big anniversaries within the series.
Well, the music of James Bond it's as iconic, I think, as the movies themselves, and indeed the actors as well. Was it when you became a fan of James Bond, was it the music that drew you in, I wonder?
I think it was a bit of everything, but I mean, I think the first time I ever saw Bond, it was before I was really a musician, and then through my childhood, you're aware of the music, and the music, as you say, is such a big part. I think it becomes a character in its own right within the films, and it was sort of probably in my late childhood, early adulthood that I really found a passion for the music, which kind of coincided with playing some of the songs in junior bands that I was in and what have you. But yeah, it's such a huge part of the films, and we're really, really lucky to be able to play it all the time now.
Yeah. And since 1962, there's been 25 Bond movies. Do you manage to cram them all into your show?
Yeah, we do. Not only do we do all the songs, we do a couple of special items on our concerts as well. So, we're not just a tribute to the songs. We play some of the fantastic incidental music from John Barry and David Arnold over the years, and we try and do a different one on each concert to give people some variety. So yeah, all the theme songs. I think the only one that we don't do, we stopped doing Die Another Day a while ago because people used to say, don't do it. It's not a great song. So we use the space to put in some other really good stuff that people want to hear. And as I say, we're a tribute to the whole series, all of the music, not just the songs.
But you saying that, it's really interesting, because I think James Bond and the James Bond theme tunes, it always draws a debate. People either love the theme or they don't love the theme, and quite often it'll lend them to it actually liking the movie if they like the music or not. It's weird.
Yeah, you're so right. And that's the great thing about Bond films in general, as well as the music, is that there's something for everybody. Everybody's got their own favourite and their own least favourite. And it does always cause a lot of debate. But I think also, just feeding into what you said as well, I think what the songs do tend to do is especially the ones that are used within the film score. So, for example, when John Barry used to incorporate the songs into the score, they really sort of follow a thread then through the movie. So you kind of end up with a bit of an emotional attachment to the song, just because it takes you back to those memories of watching the films, yeah, which for quite a lot of people is quite often part of a family event or a call back to your youth when you saw Bond on screen for the first time. So those songs often evoke those sorts of emotional responses and memories from childhoods and from family occasions because they're woven through the films themselves.
Yeah. And the theme tunes, I think, as you say, they are they're a sign of the times. The producers always seem to use the biggest stars of the day. So when we do look back on a movie, whether it be from the 1960s, 70s or whatever, we will know. And there will be times in the future where people will think, oh, Billie Eilish, remember her?
Well, you never know. You never know who's going to stand the test of time. I mean, some songs have actually grown more popular through time. I mean, We Have All the Time in the World, for example, was a song that was largely under the radar when it came out, but it had a revival years later. And then you've got something like Live and Let Die, which has just become an iconic anthem in its own right, aside from the films. So it's funny how time can do wonders for these songs, you know.
Let me ask you a question that you may never have been asked. Do you have an artist that's been used for a James Bond film that's made you think that doesn't seem quite right? And on the flip side, have they yet to use a band that you think they should have done?
Well, I think the obvious one that everyone would say straight away that didn't work was Madonna. And I think we already alluded to that when I said we don't even do the song. I mean, It's a James Bond concert where we don't do one of the songs. You know, it's probably not really landed as it should have done.
Yeah.
In terms of artists that I think over the years, for me, I think would have been great. I think it would have been really good to have had a Frank Sinatra one in there somewhere. Yeah. Definitely Muse, I think, is one that came up a lot. Too late now, probably. And it's probably a little bit of a travesty that Queen never did one back in the day when they were, you know, the biggest band in the world, especially British. They're the main ones that spring to mind, but I'm sure there are lots more that people will say. But yeah, there's no one I think right now that I think is really the obvious choice for the next one. But I think it'll be whoever's got the most Instagram followers at the time. And before people start wincing and throwing things at the radio, I mean, that's just a marketing thing now. And I think the Bond producers have realised that it's a really great way to get the films exposed to a younger audience, like with Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the way they'll go in the future as well.
Yeah. I can remember when I was a teenager and I remember thinking, Aha, because Aha did the theme for Living Daylights, of course. And it wasn't that I didn't think that they were very good. It was just that I didn't think they were that big.
Yeah. Well, the reason they got that, I think, is that one of them said to Cubby Broccoli, just said, when are you going to have a decent band record a song? And that's how they kind of managed to blag their way into doing it.
Right. Okay. But now, of course, it's a terrific song, and the same with the Duran Duran one. And I think think a lot of people, they might look back on it with those tinted glasses that they think you can't use Sam Smith, you can't use Billie Eilish, you have to use somebody like, you know, Tom Jones, or, you know, one of the big guys of yesteryear. But of course, anybody today, they are the new yesteryear, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I say, it just comes back round to, I mean, core Bond fans, the real hardcore Bond fans, would always like to go back to that classic sound of Shirley Bassey, for example. But the reality is that, as I say, it's a marketing vehicle for the films now, and that's the way that they kind of view it. And I understand that. You know, I don't necessarily like it as an old school Bond fan, but I recognise that it's an important part of getting the film out there.
Absolutely. And before I let you go, I've got to speak to you about the band, because I've been watching some of your footage of you this morning on YouTube, and the musicianship is absolutely off the scale. But I suppose it has to be, because they've got to be able to play classical, contemporary, and everything in between, right?
Well, right. I mean, it covers just about every genre, and yeah, that's the trick, is to find musicians that aren't just specialised in one area; they specialise in all of them, and that's kind of my job as the band leader. And you know, over 20 years, I've formed a really great bunch of people that really get the music, that are really passionate about the project and about, you know, recreating the sound. And the level of detail that we go to is so intense and so imperceptible that, you know, you can't necessarily pick up on the little details. But when you put it all together, I think that's what Bond fans do pick up on. And my thing I always say is that at the core of it, we are as big a Bond fans as anybody watching. It's not just another night's work. We live it, we breathe it. It's a daily thing for us. And the idea is to give Bond fans out there what they want, not what we want to give them. It's what they want. Yeah. That's what we're trying to achieve. And I think to the large part, the people that come and see it will say that's absolutely what we do.
And as well as a terrific band, you've got Caroline Bliss, the actress Caroline Bliss, of course, who played Miss Moneypenny in The Living Daylights, and A View to a Kill. It's a fantastic
License to Kill, yeah.
Yeah, it's just it must be terrific to have Caroline on board.
It is. She's absolutely lovely as well, and she really loves doing the show. And she gives little anecdotes in the show, talking about working with Timothy Dalton and getting the role. And I think people really enjoy hearing inside the world of James Bond. On the inside. So get that opportunity.
Brilliant. And so you're coming to the William Aston Hall here in Wrexham in about a month's time, the 27th of October. And can't wait to welcome you to Wrexham. Have you played Wrexham before, by the way?
No, we haven't. We're really looking forward to it. And it feels a little bit like bringing James Bond home, really, because, there's a lot of Welsh connections, obviously, with Timothy Dalton, Shirley Bassey, Tom Jones. And so, it'd be really, really good. And I'm sure that the local crowd will get behind that whole thing, because that love a decent Welsh artist, and there's no one bigger than Tom Jones and Shirley Bassey.
Absolutely. Warren Ringham of Cue the Music, the James Bond tribute concert. An absolute treat to speak to you, my friend. Thanks ever so much for that. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on, and hopefully see some of you on the night. It'll be brilliant.
Fantastic. And I'm going to play, I think I'm going to use your favourite James Bond theme tune. And what would that be?
Oh, mine would be Diamonds Are Forever.
Diamonds Are Forever, brilliant. Warren Ringman, thank you ever so much for speaking to us on Calon FM. Really appreciate it. You take care of yourself.
You too, thank you ever so much.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Diamonds are forever to me.
Warren Ringham from the Cue the Music James Bond Concert Spectacular that will be coming to the William Aston Hall Sunday the 27th of October, compared by Caroline Bliss, who was indeed Miss Moneypenny in The Living Daylights, and License to Kill. There we are, I got it right this time, perfect. Box office number for the William Aston Hall is 01352 344 101. That's 01352 344 101. Go on, support your local theatres, ladies and gentlemen. They won't be there forever if you don't.
Stage and Screen with Andy Snowden. Let us know what you want to hear on WhatsApp with the number 01978 540 410. We love local. Calon FM.